So in coins, what a coin is, and a coin as a word is used a little bit sort of flippantly, but it really means legal tender issued by a government. So there are, I suppose what you call, and you see down the bottom, rounds or medallions. They're made by private mints. They're technically not coins. Coin has to be a legal tender, but it's generally meant to use a round piece of precious metal. Coins have a higher quality finish on them. That makes them a lot harder to fake. It's a little bit easier to maybe fake a gold bar because it's just a poured bar. With a coin, the amount of work that goes into, and if you go and have a look at our bullion coins, particularly, I mean, our bullion coins are the highest quality around the world. They're almost the other country's proof standard in terms of the finish. They're all highly polished and frosted finishes on them. Makes them a lot harder to be faked. So a lot of investors prefer the coins because of that extra work that goes into the finish, and because they're usually very thin, it's a lot harder to insert tiny thin pieces of, you know, base metal or some other metal inside it without the coin being inaccurate in terms of its weight and size. So that makes them a lot safer. Some of the coins that we make have got a limited mintage, so you know, but the mintage is around 300,000. So, but some investors like that. Some of our Kookaburra silver coins sell out of that, and they command a little bit of a premium. I also would think, if you're looking to buy precious metals, not to also look at our pre-decimal coins as well. Sometimes you can get coins that are, from a coin dealer's point of view, have no collectability, they're damaged, they're scratched, but they still have precious metal content. So you can get threepences and sixpences. The 1966 50-cent coin was about 1/3 of an ounce of silver. So you can sometimes pick them up at close to their metal value. And they're a nice, convenient form. So that's also worth having a look at. And as I said, you've got private mints. Mostly in the US, there are private mints. Sometimes those coins are sold here. Again, if you're not sure, I really wouldn't. If you're starting out and you're not sure about the mark of it, probably best not to buy it unless you really know what you're doing and you're familiar with it. And also, generally the market for them may be a little bit less liquid and accepted in Australia. Just to put it in context, because the prices of coins and bars differ. So this is a chart of the gold coins and bars. What I've done is got the premium, so I've taken away the metal value and just said the premium, which is the price in excess of the true gold value in it, and put that in dollar terms. So everything in red is a coin, so you can see that they're generally higher than the bars. But what you also see is as you get bigger, they get cheaper. So you buy more, you get a discounted price, same sort of thing. But it's not so much a selling tool, it's because it costs more to make the larger products. It doesn't necessarily mean that you should therefore try and buy the biggest thing you can, because you've got to think about when you're going back to sell it. So a 50-ounce bar, apart from costing a lot of money, is very, very cheap in terms of the fabrication cost. But if you're looking to sell it back, you also may not want to have to sell it as 50 ounces in one go. You might want to sell 10 ounces and another 10 ounces. So it doesn't necessarily mean, the bigger the bar, the cheaper it is, the better to get the biggest ones. You want to think about how you can accumulate it and how you can sell it as well, so that you've got the ability to break it up and sell it. So some people like getting 1 ounce coins, even though they are relatively more expensive, but they like the fact that they can just sell 1 ounce as they go. Same thing for silver. So it's the same situation. The bars are a lot more cheaper relative to the coins because of the extra work involved in the coin manufacture on silver, and the value of the silver is much less relative to the fabrication charge. So same situation. I think kilo coins are the cheapest, and kilo cast bars are good, and 100 ounce, we do a lot of 100 ounce silver bars as well. And for the large investors, we sell a lot of 1,000 ounce silver bars. Not overly popular, it's usually they've got quite a lot of money to invest and they want to go into the larger, they're not very convenient. 100 ounces is a good size, fits in your hand, it's a reasonable size to take, as well as the kilo. just a note on tax and GST. I just mentioned that gold and silver are taxed. I've had people ring me up, when they're buying gold and they're talking, and some people seem to think there's something magical about precious metals and that it's not taxed for some reason. I don't know where they get this idea from, but the government is neutral on everything. It's just saying this is an asset and it is taxed just like anything else. So the same rules apply, capital gains tax. If you hold it for more than a year, the 50% discount, all of those same things that would apply to anything else that you buy, stocks, shares, real estate, same rules. And just note as well on GST, when the GST was brought in, they realised that gold and silver were precious metals internationally traded. If they just added 10% GST on, no one would buy it in Australia. So they gave it this status of input tax, which meant that it didn't have GST on it. But it has to meet these 3 bullet points. It has to have this purity, it has to be internationally recognised and traded. So that's why the list that I gave you of the manufacturers with the stamp, as long as it's on that LBMA list, it'll meet this definition. So sometimes you can get into problems if you're importing, see a great bargain on the internet from a US manufacturer of some bar. If they're just a private mint or some private operation, that when the metal comes in, customs may look at it and just go, we're going to charge 10% GST on that. So just keep that in mind. Even coins, because Eagles, Krugerrands are not, they're 22 carat, they're not 99.5 or more, they attract GST. Okay, so generally if you're buying back through second hand through a dealer, they'll add the GST back on, they'll repay you in a sense for that because they can claim it back. But if you're trading privately, you might pay 10% from a dealer, metal value plus the 10%. When you go to sell it to someone if you're trading it privately, they're not going to be able to claim back 10%. They're not going to offer you a 10% GST price on top. So just keep that in mind.